Smiley shot this shit.
Smiley and Memoriiies Media.
Shout out to Memoriiies never die. Y'all already know.
Shout out to Smiley and Memoriiies Media.
Shout out to my boy Smiley, man. Y'all already know.
How y'all doing today? This is the Memoriiies Media Podcast with your boy Smiley. We got a very special guest in the building with us today, Malik the Mogul Jones. What's going on, bro?
What's up, man? It's a pleasure to be here, man. A very big fan of your work. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep bringing the realness to social media. It's definitely needed. It's an honor to be with you today, though, sir.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. So tell the people who you are and where you from.
Oh, yeah. It's your favorite influencer, Malik Jones, the GOAT Law Mogul. And I'm from Savannah, Georgia, man. I'm out of Cabo Village, but I moved to the east side of East Savannah when I was 13. Cabo Village raised me, but East Savannah made me.
Yes, sir. So what was it like for you growing up in Savannah?
So growing up for me in Savannah, man, I had a real interesting childhood based on everything that I'm doing here today. You probably won't even think I grew up the way that I grew up, but I grew up as what you would consider the at-risk youth. At the age of 11, while most people was playing football, basketball, little league sports, and in school, you know, I was going back and forth with juvenile, you know, trying to be somebody I feel like I wasn't, or just trying to go along with the crowd and things like that. And, you know, at the age of 15, when I got committed to the Department of Juvenile Justice, I spent 5 months in Dublin, at Hope Home. I opened an American government book, and I decided I want to be the President of the United States of America. So I started, you know, changing my life around, and it's been working so far.
So I've assumed this is how you got into getting into politics.
Yes, it was one of the reasons that I started really getting into politics, because I realized that that's where the real decision making occur in politics and in law. So I always wanted to be a lawyer, but then my dream job became wanting to be the President of the United States of America. And I actually realized they actually coexist and they align with each other very easily.
Yeah. So how did Savannah influence you to get in? Did Savannah have any part of that?
Savannah has a lot to do with why I do what I do and why I want to do what I do. Mostly the biggest thing is the corruption, the abuse of power, and things in this community. You know, coming home at 15 years old, wanting to change the perspective of what people think about at-risk youth, and how it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Making some connections with, you know, like the former, with Mayor Van Johnson, things like that. I was part of Chatham County Youth Commission, and that really showed me that I really love my community, and there's a lot that I can do for my community in particular positions or even outside of office. And when I ran for city council the first time, when I was about to run for city council the first time, I had a wrongful arrest that a lot of people don't know about, but it was publicized when I actually ran for city council in 2023. I was spit on by 2 white people at a gas station. Officers was there. It actually happened in between 2 officers, a Chatham County officer by the name of Patrick Bowers and a Savannah PD officer by the name of Timothy Belmont. And I was in handcuffs before the people that spit on me. And 23 days later, Officer Patrick Bowers came back and charged me with possession of cocaine to distribute. And it was drugs that he claimed that was left in a police car. I would just say this, whether it was my drugs or not, those charges should never been on my record. I should never been arrested. I should never been in the back of the police car because I was clearly the victim. So that is something that really pushed me and showed me that there's a lot of corruption and foolishness going on in our city. And I reached out to Van Johnson at the time, and that's when he had just made the city ordinance about possession of marijuana less than an ounce. And I was arrested for disorderly conduct, possession of marijuana on July 4th, going to July 5th of 2018. And then on July 28th, I was arrested for possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. And I'll say that really changed my life.
Is that still on your record, or you got to dismiss?
So I actually beat the cases. All the cases was non-pros. Shout out to my phenomenal attorney, Stephanie Burgess, on both cases. You know, she represented me on the first case, and that's really where I got that, do you know who I am from? A lot of people don't understand that, but she asked Officer Belmont, did he know who I was before the interaction? He said no. And she asked him, well, why did he arrest me? And he said in court on stand that he arrested me because he was tired of me talking. That was a violation of my constitutional rights. And, you know, a lot of people see what I do now and think that I'm just against law enforcement, but I'm against selective accountability. I'm against abuse of powers. And I realized that even in that stint, I realized how important police are, because regardless, for the rest of my life, I'll have to discuss that arrest. But people don't understand that when you're arrested in the state of Georgia, even though you beat the case, when a background check is ran, they can still see that, especially if you don't get it restricted.
So also on top of that, March 20th, 2023, you were charged with the disorderly conduct with the criminal trespass. You just spoke about that. All right. So according to a Savannah police report, at the age of 26 years old, you were running for a District 3 seat in Savannah.
Yes, sir.
After trying to get campaign signs back from the city code enforcement vehicle, you were criminally charged. The report says the officer was picking up Malik Jones' campaign signs that were blocking the right-of-way along the road near East Gwinnett Street and Long Ave. It was then that Jones says he confronted the officer about why she was removing the signs. Quote, I attempted to get some of my signs. I was allowed to get 2 of them, but before I could even get those 2, the code compliance officer drove off, said Jones. The police report goes on to say that the officer explained what she was doing before driving away. The officer says Jones chased her down the street and pulled in front of her. The report says Jones jumped in the back of the truck and started throwing signs out the back. Quote, I had no choice but to climb in the back of a truck because I was going to go on the ground and I probably would have hurt myself. At the time, I did not know the city ordinance policies and procedures for putting out signs, said Jones. According to the city of Savannah, only people who have been convicted of a felony involving a moral turpitude of violating election laws are not eligible to run for city posts. Because these charges are misdemeanors, Jones was still able to run. You want to add on to that and tell what happened?
So I would say this. I beat the case. The case was non-pros. Nobody came back and ran the story. I'll start off by saying that. But this particular day, I was actually in the community passing out my door hangers, and I had just left some constituents. They literally just told me, she said, do not let Linda Wilder Bryant trick you or get you to act out of character. And as I was turning the corner, I was coming to my property, and I had 2 signs on my property, and my signs were removed off of my property. And I saw the code compliance officer in the area, and she had signs in the back of her truck. And I asked her why was she moving signs. She said signs cannot be on the right of way. When she said signs couldn't be on the right of way, I said, okay. And I said, ma'am, I think you have some of my signs in the back of your truck. I was able to peek my head over her truck, and I saw 3 of my signs, which I was able to remove. By the time I was able to try to go through the rest of them, she pulled off and went to leave. I went to my house, which she was right by my house, got in my car, and I drove down the street after her. She pulled to the left. I continued to go. I was trying to turn around to get out of my car to talk to her. And so as she was coming towards me, I got out of my car and I was telling her like, hey, I still have signs back here. And as I was standing with 1 foot on the back of the thing to show her, she actually pulled off. So because of where I was, I made sure that I just moved forward because I didn't want to fall off into the back of the police truck, into the back of the code compliance truck. But what's funny about this is I didn't know this, and it's on my YouTube channel that when I got body cam footage that the officer asked him, was those my signs and who I was. If you look at the body cam footage, those were actually my signs, and there was 3 on the ground. And the guy told the supervisor he didn't know whose signs they were, and that I just was upset because of my signs not being properly placed. Well, the sergeant asked him what was my name, who I was connected to, and that he would give him a call back, and that he said that the lieutenant told them to charge me with the criminal trespass. So originally I was going to only be charged with the disorderly conduct, but the lieutenant and the sergeant saw fit for me to be charged with disorderly conduct. And I asked that supervisor to come out to the scene and ask him not to charge me with that because if anything, it was a civil issue and that it could hurt and affect my campaign. And lo and behold, it did. But I also want to shout out Director Knight of the City of Savannah Code Compliance because I did get in contact with her before the police actually left the scene. She apologized and said that I should have been given my signs back and given the opportunity to fix it because I was right there on the scene. And it was also some policies and things that went into place doing that. And anytime that you run for city council on the City of Savannah Code Compliance page, you will see the proper way to post the code compliance signs. So as I said in the interview, I take responsibility for where I'm wrong. I just want other people in position to take responsibility when they're wrong. And we were definitely able to get down to the bottom of that Director Knight. And again, the charges were dismissed and nobody reran the story on that. And I assured the people doing the interview that the charges will be dismissed, and they did that.
Okay, bet. So all the charges were dismissed.
Yes, so they were.
Okay. How did you win the seat?
So I actually, because of personal issues and how things were going, I actually stopped. I just stopped pursuing that seat at the time. I had a daughter. My fiance, she was high risk, And I just had to take some time back, and I saw what they tried to do to me publicly. My oldest daughter, which is 10 now, she saw the interview. Her teacher saw it, and she was just like, Dad, my teacher saw your interview, and she was like, my teacher said you can be president one day. And it was funny because when I graduated high school, my daughter was in my hand, and I really started posting a picture telling people way before this that I'll be the first president, born and raised in Savannah, Georgia. And my daughter, who told me that, she was in my arm. And there's a lot of motivation. My kids are my motivation. But I had to take that time to really process a lot of things and be there for my family.
Yeah. So another incident that you was involved in, the 2024 incident, because you covered the 2023 incident in the beginning.
Yes, sir.
And the city council signed the incident. Now the 2024 incident, August 17, 2024, you were arrested by an officer for reckless driving and suspended license in a residential neighborhood. There were reports of a robbery in the neighborhood nearby. I'm assuming that's how it went. Can you explain what happened?
So I was not arrested. I was cited a ticket for reckless driving and driving while suspended. It was a situation going on in the neighborhood. I was actually just getting off from work. I had nothing to do with the situation at all. I literally was pulled over, as most people said in the comments, for driving while black in the community. This officer was adamant about charging me, abusing his power and authority, even though he was wrong. It was a pretextual stop. It wasn't a stop with reasonable articulate suspicion of a crime being committed. I did not match the description of any of the subjects that were running on foot, nor did my vehicle match the description of the vehicle that was of interest on that call. It was this particular officer who missed out on the action, who missed out on the pursuit, and he wanted to make an arrest that night, and he wanted to flex his power and his authority. But then he met Malik Jones, the Gold Law Mogul, and I assured him that night that he would be viral and that he had the right but the wrong one. And so this officer lied and said that I was driving at a high rate of speed, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
I actually stopped at a stop sign, and I just thank God for that situation because I was able to show people me in a different light. Because I had a viral traffic stop before that where I probably could have handled the way that I expressed myself and my frustration completely different. But one thing about God, He gives you testability or testimony. And that traffic stop on August 17, 2024 was a traffic stop for me to not only reintroduce myself in a different light or express my frustration, but to show how intelligent I was. Because if you don't know, I actually went to court and represented myself in that case and went viral. And I just thank God for that opportunity, because without that opportunity, I would never had the opportunity to reintroduce myself. And I actually went viral after another wrongful arrest. So I tell people this: when you're doing this type of work that I'm doing, it's a lifestyle, but it's a lot of things that come with it, and you have to be ready for what comes with it.
Yeah.
You have to always prepare for the worst. And speaking up and speaking out, it comes with a lot. And I've been through a lot of retaliation, a lot of things that you have to be strong to actually endure. And it affects your family as well. Yes, social media helps bring awareness to a lot of this stuff, but the trauma sometimes never heals.
Yeah. So do you feel like SPD will continue to retaliate over you fighting them back? Because you be talking to them crazy on the videos too now.
So I'll just say this. My experience lately when I've been coming in contact with them on traffic stops, it has been completely different. Even from that 2024 incident, I've been stopped by this officer that said in the video, "Man, I would have arrested him. Man, I would have arrested him." His attitude was completely different, and I admit I was definitely in the wrong. I was on that same road. I was doing about 35 and 25, and he even said, his whole attitude was different. Even some of the stops, I've seen an officer, a K9 officer, that is best friends with the officer from my first SPD viral traffic stop, and he was different. He gave me a warning, but I see him violate rights of actually our coworkers every day with his K9 dog. So to answer your question, I think they know that I'm not to be played with, but I don't take that lightly. I'm always on my P's and Q's, and most importantly, what I've done before they started talking to me was I don't really give them a reason to bother me. I don't start things, I finish it. They win the battles and I win the war. You can write a ticket, but I think they see now that they're pretextual stops. These are stops that if you really have the education and knowledge, you can go to court and fight, they'll be dismissed. I've showed them that just because I curse you out, I can also go to court and stand 10 toes as an attorney like I curse you out on the street because I know the law. I know your standard operating procedure. And so I become a threat. I'm 5'8", but I become a threat when I speak your verbiage to you. I referee basketball, so I understand the form of law enforcement as well. You have to enforce the law and rule and the loopholes and different things like that. But I think they got their answer now. The Malik Jones, the GOAT Ball Mogul, and they are actually the reason I was able to add the GOAT Ball Mogul to my name because of me representing myself in court and the traction that it actually got from that violent traffic stop.
So do you go out your way to like try to do anything to make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else?
I actually do go out of my way, and that's one of the reasons why I'm being tagged to a lot of viral incidents and accounts. If you, I don't know if you know, but I'm working with my homeboy's mom, my classmate. Her and her son was treated wrong by law enforcement right at McDonald's, but her in particular was kicked down to the ground. She's a dialysis patient, and she was actually charged with obstruction, but she was released on subpoena. We went to court last week. Unfortunately, her attorney didn't show up. But it's a lot of cases of violent incidents in this community that goes on that I'm tied to, is where I educate people on their rights, the law, and standard operating procedures. And I just want people to understand that you gotta know your rights. Laws, policies, procedures do not supersede your rights. They're never gonna tell you that they found their officer in wrong or in doing or violating policies. And definitely not gonna tell you they violate their rights. So they're gonna justify the actions of some of these officers. And a lot of people on traffic stops, and I was saying this in the barbershop earlier, look up Pennsylvania versus Mims. Pennsylvania versus Mims, when an officer have you on a traffic stop and they order you outside of the vehicle, you must comply and step outside of that vehicle. Keep your phone out and record it all the time. It's not a crime to record the police. But if you resist that, you are in violation of obstruction, and they can charge you with obstruction, or they can escalate and use excessive force. I'm not justifying what those officers did because I feel both parties, but like in that Jacksonville case, he should have probably got out of the car. And I'm saying that because I know that, and I know that now because of my knowledge of my friends and law enforcement attorneys. And I'm blessed because of a lot of situations where I did not correspond or comply with officers' lawful orders, even though I knew at the time what they're doing was wrong. I could have been charged with obstruction. It's a possibility that it would have, it could have possibly stand up in court. But due to my history with law enforcement in this community, I don't see a jury or nobody really convicting me of a crime, only because they have shown pre-justice of they really want to try to give me charges. Yeah. And most of my arrests are wrongful arrests, ego arrests, and retaliatory arrests. I'm not out here breaking the law.
Yeah. So something else I want to talk to you about, Flau'jae school giveaway. Okay. So LSU basketball champion and rapper Flau'jae Johnson came back to Savannah for her third annual Back to School Giveaway Festival. The Savannah native partnered with Powerade, Puma, and the KO Cancer Fund. It all started Friday with mobile mammograms and continued with the festival Saturday. They gave away backpacks, shoes, clothing, and other resources as students gear up to go back to school, to their classroom. Jose quoted being said, I was one of them and I was looking for a little bit of hope, and I feel like that is what this event could bring. A little bit of hope to the kids, a little bit of fun before school, and giving them what they need. A lot of people can't afford it right now, the way the economy is and things right now. This will be a big help, so I'm just thankful that I can, said Johnson. What's your thoughts on Flau'jae doing the giveaways at the school?
Man, first and foremost, man, shout out to Big Foe, Kia Brooks, her stepdaddy, Coach Amin, man, the whole Flau'jae team, man. I think what she's doing is great and phenomenal, and everybody that did back to school events or that is empowering this community and using their platform and their resources to give back to the city. And I was able to actually go and get my McDonald All-American jersey and my LSU jersey signed at the end, and meet her boyfriend as well. But like I say, man, I actually have a great relationship with the family. But I met Flau'jae and really locked into her. She was 10 years old playing basketball with the boys at Delaware Center. My first year as official, she's killing the game, and I knew then that she'd be a star. And to see what she's doing, not only on the court, but off the court and in the classroom and in the community to give back, that is great. Speak beyond measures of her character, and who she really is, and the phenomenal woman that she will become. And she's already making history and doing things that a lot of these young ladies in this city need to see. A young lady like herself doing that come from this city, but most importantly come from some of the same situations and hurdles. And again, I watched her interview with Shannon. Shout out to Uncle Shannon as well. I watched her interview, and a lot of people go watch that interview with her and Shannon Sharpe and continue to watch it and listen to what she says, you know. And one other thing while we're on this topic, for you parents that have great, talented youth that's out here that's going to go to the next level, listen to what she said about NILs and things like that about her mom, and not allowing just random people to come in here and get a return on the investment that you all made into your child and things like that. And that's, again, man, shout out to Big Foe and the family.
Yeah. Now she was the youngest person in Savannah history to get the keys to the city. She has yet to get a day in Savannah. Do you think Flau'jae deserves a day in Savannah?
I most definitely think that, you know, she deserves a day in Savannah. I most definitely think she deserves a community center or something. But I think it is some things that they are in the works of doing. It's a lot of things that I think her and some other great talented people that actually give back to this community, using their platform, using sports, entertainment, and things like that, that deserves keys, buildings, properties, streets, and a lot of things named after them that are young and that are actively doing things in this community right now to give back.
Yeah. Now, one of the people who did get a key to the city, Big Boy received the key to the city of Savannah. So on February 11th, 2022 at the Air Market Arena, Big Boy had a headline performance for the Love of Hip Hop concert in Savannah. Savannah Mayor Van Johnson caught backlash on social media for naming February 11th as Antoine Big Boy Patton Day, also presenting the key to the city to Atlanta rap artist Big Boy, who attended Jenkins High School until leaving for Atlanta. Some of the backlash came from Big Boy never being in the city unless booked, also never giving back to the city throughout his career. Mayor Van Johnson said in the Facebook post, quote, "It was my pleasure to present the key to the city to Savannah's own Big Boy in honor of his legendary music and philanthropic achievements, and also in always representing the 912. Congratulations." What's your thoughts on Mayor Van Johnson giving Big Boy the key to Savannah?
First and foremost, I'm gonna start off by saying Mayor Van Johnson is a clout chaser and a photo op, and I just think that, you know, it's many more other people that are actually in this community that deserve that key. And when I say active, meaning I can name some names, and I believe some of them have them, but, you know, Nolan Smith, you know, Anthony Lanier is someone that's definitely be giving back. I think he deserves a lot more recognition than what he gets for the things he do in this community, as we say, Flau'jae and things like that. But I just don't. I'm 28 years old. I can't remember one time I know a Big Boy being in this city doing a give back or doing things like that. And shout out to Big Boy. I have a lot of respect for him and Killer Mike as well. An opportunity to meet them briefly in 2017 when I went to Atlanta. But as far as his activeness in Savannah, I have not seen that. And as in Mayor's Van voice, in his words directly, some words that he told me, Big Boy has not served the city of Savannah, its constituents, enough to deserve that reward.
What's your thoughts on Mayor Van Johnson as the mayor?
It's funny, we just had this conversation. I would tell anybody, I have a love-hate relationship with Mayor Van Johnson. I learned a lot of great things from him, and I left a lot of the negative, bad things with Mayor Van Johnson. I think that he has done a great job with fooling a lot of the people in this community to think that he is actually for the community. I think he do just enough to get by when he can do a lot more. And I think he only used his relationships, his resources for who he want to use them for. And I say that because I think a lot of things that we see in this community that we've been asking for years, for our youth, most definitely, I was asking for at 15 years old and he was older than me. He's been the mayor for 2 terms. It's a lot of stuff we have not seen in this community. And I was having this conversation earlier. Some of the things that they're going to say, oh, well, he have all this X, Y, and Z in this community, but it's not geared to the actual individual that need those type of things in this community. These at-risk youth needs a lot of outlets. They need resources. They need things to do, but most importantly, there's nothing for a young person to do in this community. Kids at age of 13 to 20 have no way to hang out at and to actually be kids, to socialize and things like that. So they have to go to places like City Market. Or what is a kid like City Market at the age of 13 or 20 going to do in City Market? Why are they there? Why are we not having programs that's teaching these kids different things? And he has the power to do a lot of these things, to put money where money needs to be, to focus on these you just as well as we focus on tourism and hospitality, to not try to get in front of the media and the cameras and say that we don't have gangs and then turn around and say we do have gangs 2 years later. Do we have gangs or do we don't have gangs? But most importantly, the biggest problem that I have with Mayor Van Johnson is this elective accountability. He never takes accountability when himself or city officials are wrong. He always pushes back the accountability on the citizens. And we all know that only thing that does is nothing. The people that are victims, which are the constituents of this community, never gets the help that they need, and no one is never held accountable. But the constituents in this community are always held accountable. If your grass is too high, you get a ticket, you gotta go pay it. Now, this new ordinance that he did with this gun situation, I think it's bogus and it's BS. I was in court on Friday and the lady had to pay $190 when her car was broken into in her driveway and her firearm was stolen. Why would you put an ordinance like that to hurt the working class people if you really care for this community?
I seen a Facebook post. So it goes, the baby mother takes the baby father's mother's life insurance money. So the Facebook post said, my cousin just called me talking about we outside. She saw a random $50,000 deposit call to verify what the was for. Apparently her baby died and his beneficiary on the and she found out that the state took the money from the baby dad due to back child support. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on child support?
I think child support is a scam. And then I also think child support is really a problem to fathers that don't want to bear the responsibility financially of taking care of their children. Because I'm on child support, I kind of put myself on child support because I legitimized my daughter, and that was one of the process, or so you could say requirements, in order for legitimization right. Any father out there watching this, I urge you, especially in the state of Georgia or anywhere, to legitimize your child so that you have equal rights to that child. If you do not have that child and you're married, you do not have equal rights. And at any time that mother can act crazy and you could be sitting there looking like a fool, or possibly even in jail. But I also don't like that child support can enforce your financial obligation, but not your visitation. And that's one of the main reasons why I say child support is a scam. But when I don't pay my child support, my license can be suspended, so it can hurt my finances, right? But you can't make this mother make sure that I see my child. So that's why it's like, and sometimes some people put kids, fathers, on child support out of despite, out of jealousy and things like that. And man, $50,000, you don't even know the state of being that father, finances or things like that, or what he would have done to, pay the back due balance with that. And he might have needed it for something else. He might have would have give you all half, but just to take it all is just like, And then it's different scenario for different things. That some fathers, they just sorry, they deadbeats. I don't feel sorry for those fathers. But the fathers out here that's on child support, that's doing for their child financially and not getting to see their child or not being able to be a father to their child, I really feel as though, that's so unfair.
What's your thoughts on co-parenting from a male's point of view?
Co-parenting is very important, and man, that's so crazy. That is very important, and I wish I had that with my first child's mother. But I watched a healthy co-parenting relationship with my ex-girlfriend and her child's father, and it's very important. These kids need both parents. Regardless if they're male or female. both parents can bring out different sides of a child. And that's some of the things that I wish that I had growing up. I wish I had both of my parents and possibly in the same household. But that's very important. We have to understand and start making co-parenting cool with the trend. You know what I'm saying? Like all you content creators out there, I'm just gonna throw this idea out there that's good with co-parenting. Like y'all need to start really like how y'all talk about men and all this other stuff, like making that like the thing, because co-parenting is needed, because bad and unhealthy co-parenting, it trickle down to the kids, and some of these same kids that's out here in this community that are considered at-risk youth and things like that is because of the root cause of dysfunctional co-parenting.
Yeah, indeed. So one of the last topics I wanted to talk to you about is Shannon Sharpe being fired from ESPN. Football analyst and media personality Shannon Sharpe fired by Disney's owned ESPN Sports Network. NFL Hall of Fame player and Savannah State University alumni Sharpe settled a lawsuit this month that accused him of sexual assault, according to the plaintiff's attorney. He had stepped aside from ESPN in April after a woman filed the lawsuit in Las Vegas, Nevada. The suit accused him of R-wording a woman twice in October and once more in January. A representative and an attorney for Sharpe did not immediately respond to the request for comments. Tony Busby, the woman's attorney, said in a statement on July 18th that the civil suit had been settled. Quote, both sides acknowledge a long-term consensual and tumultuous relationship, Busby said. After protracted and respectful negotiations, I'm pleased to announce that we have reached a mutually agreed upon resolution. All matters have now been addressed satisfactorily and the matter is closed. In a statement after the suit was filed, an attorney for Sharpe said he and a woman had a relationship that was consensual and sexual in nature. The attorney, Lanny Davis, said in April that the suit was filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and that it was an attempt at blackmail. After he stepped away, Sharpe vowed to be back on ESPN by the time pro football season started again. As the firing shows, this will not be happening. What's your thoughts on the Shannon Sharpe situation?
First and foremost, man, shout out to Unc, man. It's sad that you got to go through this, but Unc, you should have known better. Unc, you got too much money. You got too much of an influence to risk or put yourself in this situation, you or your family and your supporters. You know, I met him twice. I met him when he came down here for ESPN First Take, and I also just met him when his recent bottle signing right here. Spoke to him briefly and have some connection to him and his team. But I just think that if Monique warned you, like, you can have any woman you want. Why? You know what I'm saying? But I also think that, you know, it's a form of exploitation, a way to defame his character. You gotta look at what was going on, you know, with his career, his contract and things like that. You gotta realize, like, politics too. My question is, who did he upset? Who was mad that he was elevating to where he's elevating to? You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that you got to realize, that everybody don't want to see you do good. Every congratulation, every smile, every handshake is not sincere, or whether you're at the bottom or whether you're at the top. And I think this is one of the situations that, you know, far beyond this happening with Uncle Shannon, it happened with a lot of our high-profile athletes or public figures in our community. And we as individuals have to take heed to the warning before destruction and not put ourselves in those situations. And I think Uncle Shannon is far much more intelligent to be caught up in something like this. And again, man, Auntie Monique warned you, like, come on, man.
Have you ever dated a white girl before?
No, and I won't, because I won't. I'm scared of her. And it's crazy you ask that, because dating little girls at a young age traumatized me. You know, one of the things that, and that's why I said that, you know, you got to look at television. You got to look at media, and you really got to put into perspective that this came from somewhere. It can be some truth to this. And also going to juvenile early at a young age, 11 years old, there's things that I would not do at all when it comes to like making a woman feel uncomfortable, because I understand the power that they have, whether it's allowed or not. And one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to ever put yourself in a situation, especially when it comes to an essay charge or with a female or with a kid, to have to explain yourself. You know what I'm saying? But as I said earlier, when you get arrested in the state of Georgia, you get arrested or any type of allegation in court comes out, it become open record and anyone can see and have access to that. And when you beat it, you know what I'm saying? You can beat the case and it's still something that you're going to have to talk about and discuss. So me, for example, man, I don't put myself in those type of situations at all.
Yeah. So who would you say Shannon Sharpe is to Savannah? He always shouting out Savannah State and his time here in Savannah. From you being here, who is like Shannon Sharpe to Savannah?
So I feel like he's like an aunt. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody call him aunt. I feel like he definitely shows Savannah a lot of love. And from him to be somebody not from here, but for the time that he spent here, like I said, I saw him at first take. I saw his whole vibe with the city, you know, and even on his social media on days that he just pop up with his Savannah State gear on, you know, that's love. I do feel like Savannah State kind of did him wrong and they should have definitely allowed him to, you know, put his name on the stadium and make some renovations to the stadium and things like that.
What this is? What you talking about?
For Shannon Sharpe. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, that he tried to put his name on the stadium.
He wanted to do some things at the.
How long ago this was?
I think it's a minute ago. I know that it was talks that he wanted to actually do and make some contributions to Savannah State to the football stadium, and that I think
it came with him putting his name on the stadium.
He wanted to have his name on it, and they didn't want to take the person name off the stadium, right? The stadium. Mm-hmm. But I think that would definitely help with like recruitment and things like that. And it's a lot that him having ties to Savannah State can do, but he always definitely showed the city a lot of love. And even with all that, I still don't think he is someone that would deserve like a key to the city either. You know what I'm saying?
You say he deserves one?
He wouldn't deserve a key to the city. He would have to give back a little bit more. I have to hear him give back like a little more, but just coming back, doing appearances with First Take and, you know, things like that, that wasn't even, you know, for me, that wouldn't even deserve a key to our city, things like that as well. But he definitely plays a pivotal role and continue to make sure people know that he spent some time in the 912.
Yeah. The last thing I want to talk about, the affair at the Coldplay concert. The CEO of an AI company has come under heavy scrutiny after being caught by a Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert in Boston while romantically embracing one of his employees. The footage, which went viral on social media, shows astronomer CEO Andy Byron and the firm's CPO Kristen Cabot tightly hugging each other, only to awkwardly dash out of the frame. Both are reportedly married with kids and have since both quit their jobs. Do you know the situation I'm talking about?
Yeah, I seen that situation on social media, and it's just like with Unc, man, like, come on, man. It's just, for me, certain situations, you just don't put yourself in or put yourself in the risk of, and actually to be seen as someone as big as public like that, you know, to even conduct yourself in that manner, knowing that you're both married with kids and family. It's just not one of those things that I just think you should do. And then you're a CEO. And one of the things that I realized about being in the public eye or being in a high position or title, people make different standards for you. Even though it's not fair, but we know that will come with some people's perception and reality. Because you're a CEO, because you're an elected official, because you're an influencer, because you're a public figure, you're not supposed to do certain things. But who set that standard? Who's to say, like when I was running for city council and everybody know I like to wear my suit with my joint, who's to say that I'm not a politician because I wear sneakers with my suits? Who made the standard what a politician look like? Who made the standard how a CEO conduct? He's a man, she's a woman at the end of the day, but still those type of behaviors you shouldn't do, because it don't only bring embarrassment to yourself, but it brings embarrassment to your family and your significant other as well.
Yeah. Have you ever been caught cheating before?
Have I been caught cheating before? Yeah, but my ex had already cheated, so I don't really think that that really count. But besides that, I ain't been caught cheating before.
So what you think about being at like a concert or a public place? Like you there to see somebody or a group, but then they start panning the camera to the crowd. Like, you think they should be doing that just?
Man, you can't, listen, like.
You think they're wrong for doing that?
This is what I say. If they wrong for doing that, you shouldn't be there doing that. because I can't come into your establishment or to your show or to your set and tell you how to run it. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is a public event. You don't know who you will see there. You can see your in-laws there. Like, that could have been blown up any different type of way. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, we don't create excuses. We don't create narratives. We really try to eliminate them. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that, you know, me personally, I'm just not gonna put myself in that position. I'm not gonna put myself in an area where it's a possibility of something to happen. Prime example, if I go downtown, I'm leaving by 2 o'clock. Cause guess what I know? Call them YNs, I call them youth negotiators, but guess what? I respect the time of waste some bull job or the time and duration of bull job can happen. I've been in shootouts. You know what I'm saying? I've been where, you know what I'm saying, to where I'm like, I'm standing here like, where should I go? Because bullets don't have no name on it. So to defeat all that, city might close 2 or 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Time to go on.
1:30, I'm going. Shout out to my bro, Chris Coakley. He taught me how to go out, bro. Like, hey, listen, bro. You go down here about an hour and 15 minutes, you say what up, and you leave. You get from down there. And that's the thing that you have to realize. And if you moving like that, bro, you don't go to no big, huge event where it's cameras and social media and people, and you're married. Your kids' friends could have saw you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw your mom. Like, you know how kids talk. Everybody got a teen gossip, and people talk too much. Like, yeah, man, they know better, but they gotta know way better than that.
Yeah. Sure. Mr. Malik the Mogul Jones, well, we appreciate you,
Man, I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Tell the people what you got planned for 2025.
Man, 2025, man, I plan to actually come to a stage near you, man, and also come to your telephone, man. We're actually booking a tour right now. I'm about to do a pain, purpose, and profit tour, man. Get ready to tell people my story. We're probably going to bring some special guests along, so just stay on the shout out for that, and just stay on the shout out for a lot more content and different things that I have in store for you all. But follow me on Instagram at Malik Jones, the GOAT Law Mogul, and also on YouTube, Malik Jones, the GOAT Law Mogul. I really need y'all to help me get to 10K followers by December on Instagram and TikTok, and definitely support my YouTube channel. I'm monetized, and you'll see a lot of raw content and some of these experiences that we talked about and raw body cam footage, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for giving us your time and commenting on these special topics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. This has been a Memoriiies Media podcast. Thank you.